The roar of the Roman crowd thundered through the streets, as a man in a blood-red cloak stood tall on the steps of the Senate. His name was Julius Caesar, man both loved and feared, a man destined to rise higher than any Roman before him, and a man whose ambition would change the world forever. His life was not just a tale of power and conquest, but of betrayal, destiny, a dream so vast that even death could not silence it. From humble beginnings to absolute power, the story of Julius Caesar is the story of Rome itself, ruthless, glorious, and unforgettable. Julius Caesar was born on July 12, 100 BCE, into the gens Julia, a patrician family that claimed descent from Aeneas, the mythical son of Venus, though noble in name. The family was far from wealthy, and Caesar's childhood was not marked by riches, but by ambition. Rome at this time was a republic dominated by powerful families. Politics was not just a career, it was survival. Caesar's father, also named Gaius Julius Caesar, held minor positions, while his mother Aurelia came from an influential family. Aurelia was intelligent and strong-willed, and she became one of the greatest influences on young Caesar's life. When Caesar was just 16, tragedy struck. His father died suddenly. Overnight, Caesar became the head of his household. With responsibility on his shoulders, he quickly realized that power was the only true security in Rome. At 17, Caesar married Cornelia, the daughter of a powerful man aligned with the populist leader Marius, who also happened to be Caesar's uncle. This marriage put him in direct conflict with Lucius Cornelius Sulla, the dictator of Rome at the time. Sulla ordered Caesar to divorce Cornelia. Caesar refused. That defiance nearly cost him his life. Branded an enemy, he fled Rome and lived in hiding, constantly moving, hunted by soldiers. Sulla eventually relented, saying, "In this boy, there are many Mariuses," a chilling prophecy of Caesar's future greatness. While traveling across the Mediterranean, Caesar was captured by Cilician pirates. They demanded a ransom of 20 talents of silver. Caesar, insulted, laughed at their demand. "Do you not know who I am? I am worth at least 50 talents, he declared. While in captivity, Caesar behaved not as a prisoner, but as a commander. He joked with the pirates, read poetry to them, and promised that one day he would return and crucify them. After his ransom was paid and he was freed, Caesar raised a fleet, hunted down the pirates, and fulfilled his promise. He had them crucified. Yet showing a peculiar sense of honor, he ordered their throats cut first to lessen their suffering. Caesar's early military career in Asia and Cilicia showed his brilliance, displayed unmatched courage in battle, and quickly earned a reputation for daring. His ambition was clear. Military glory was the pathway to political power. Back in Rome, Caesar rose through the ranks of politics, serving as a quaestor, then aedile, and later praetor. He won the love of the Roman people with lavish games, public works, and his ability to speak with passion. But Caesar was not just popular, he was dangerous. His charisma and ambition threatened the Roman elite, who watched him with suspicion. Caesar's political breakthrough came in 60 BCE when he formed an alliance with two of Rome's most powerful men, Pompey the Great, celebrated general, and Crassus, the wealthiest man in Rome. This alliance, known as the First Triumvirate, was unofficial but unstoppable. With Crassus's money, Pompey's military strength, and Caesar's popularity, the three dominated Roman politics. To cement the bond, Caesar gave his daughter Julia in marriage to Pompey, turning rivals into family. With their support, Caesar was elected consul in 59 BCE, but he wanted more than office. He wanted empire. In 58 BCE, Caesar was given command of Roman legions in Gaul. For nearly a decade, he waged war, subduing tribes, expanding Rome's borders, and amassing enormous wealth. His campaigns included legendary battles, such as the defeat of the Helvetii and the crushing of the Germanic tribes. His most famous victory came at Alesia in 52 BCE, where he besieged the Gallic leader Vercingetorix. Against overwhelming odds, Caesar's genius shone, with double fortifications surrounding a Alesian wall, keeping the Gauls trapped inside, and another keeping reinforcements out. Caesar achieved one of the most remarkable victories in military history. By the end of his campaigns, Caesar had conquered all of Gaul. He became richer than anyone in Rome, his soldiers adored him, and his legend grew. But success in Gaul made Caesar a threat. The Senate, led by Pompey, ordered him to give up his army and return to Rome. To obey meant losing power. To resist meant civil war. In 49 BCE, Caesar made his choice. Standing at the banks of the Rubicon River, he uttered the immortal words, Alia iacta, ista, the die is cast. With that, he led his legions across the river and marched on Rome. Pompey fled, and civil war consumed the republic. Caesar pursued Pompey across Italy, then into Greece. At Pharsalus, in 48 BCE, Caesar's smaller army crushed Pompey's forces. Pompey fled to Egypt, seeking refuge, but was betrayed and murdered upon arrival. When Caesar arrived in Egypt, he was presented with Pompey's severed head. Instead of joy, he wept for, even in rivalry, Pompey had been great. In Egypt, Caesar became entangled in a civil war between the young Ptolemy XIII and his sister, Cleopatra 7. Caesar sided with Cleopatra, captivated by her intelligence, charm, and ambition. Their partnership was both political and romantic. Together, they secured Cleopatra's throne, and she bore Caesar a son, Caesarion. Their alliance shocked Rome, but Caesar was unstoppable. Caesar returned to Rome as a hero. He defeated remaining enemies in Africa and Spain, solidifying his control. By 46 BCE, he was declared dictator for 10 years. Later, the Senate made him dictator for life. He launched sweeping reforms, forgiving debts, expanding the Senate, granting citizenship to provinces, and planning massive building projects. He even reformed the calendar, creating the Julian calendar, the basis of our modern system. But absolute power came at a price. Many senators feared Caesar was becoming a king, a title Romans despised. On March 15, 44 BC, the Ides of March, Caesar entered the Senate, unaware of the deadly conspiracy. Led by Brutus and Cassius, more than 60 senators plotted to end his rule. As Caesar took his seat, they surrounded him. One by one, daggers plunged into his body. According to legend, when Caesar saw Brutus among the attackers, he whispered, "Et2, Brute, you too, Brutus?" With that, he fell at the foot of Pompey's statue, his blood staining the very ground of Rome he had conquered. Caesar's assassination plunged Rome into chaos. The conspirators expected the Republic to be restored, but instead, civil war erupted again. His loyal supporters, including Mark Antony and his adopted heir Octavian, avenged him. Caesar's death marked the end of the Roman Republic. Octavian later, Augustus became the first Roman emperor, fulfilling Caesar's vision of absolute power. Facts about Julius Caesar: kidnapped by pirates and demanded they raise his ransom. First Roman leader depicted on coins while still alive, introduced the Julian calendar, which influenced today's Gregorian calendar. Caesar suffered from epileptic seizures, but never let it slow him down. He wrote his own war accounts, commentaries on the Gallic War, still studied today. He was known for his exceptional fashion sense, wearing his laurel crown to hide baldness. Caesar once passed legislation that restricted luxury spending in Rome. His name, Caesar, became the root for Kaiser and Tsar, titles for rulers centuries later. He was offered a royal crown 3 times by Mark Antony, but refused publicly. Even in death, Caesar's comet, the Sidus Ulium, was seen as his soul ascending to the heavens. Julius Caesar's life was a paradox. He fought for the people yet sought absolute power. He was loved deeply and hated fiercely, and though his body was struck down, his legacy rose higher than Rome itself. He lived as a soldier, ruled as a conqueror, and died as a symbol. Rome would never be the same, and the world would forever remember his name. In the end, Caesar achieved what every human dreams of: not immortality of the body, but immortality of the story. His name echoes through time, reminding us that destiny favors the bold.